Aloha and welcome, Uncle Richie. It's about pushing 6 in the morning here. We are live on the road. I'm at my friend Wooz's house in Philomath, right outside of Corvallis, Oregon. Big Beaver victory last night, scored 52 points at Cal. DJ looked pretty good. I got my nephew's cool hat. This is Philomath Warriors, but it's a Milwaukee Brewers upside down. I think that's brilliant. Sorry, guys. Missed the last couple days. Travel is hectic. Got the kid with me. Flew into Portland on Thursday night. Early Friday morning, got to my friend Dave's house around 3 a.m. Went to the zoo Friday. I did like a minute live at the zoo. And then yesterday, drove a couple hours. And here we are. So this is an hour before the Sunday London game. Just wanted to get in my picks. Make sure these are the numbers I got on Tuesday, which I would have put in. I'm going with that. I changed up my 4-pack and I went with the numbers as of right now. But for week 5, these are my picks. I had Chicago +7 Thursday, which is not recorded, but I promise. Buffalo -5.5 coming up in about a half hour on this Sunday, week 5, Uncle Richie. In Hawaii, it's cool, Uncle. For nationwide, might not be Uncle style. I might have to come up with a different moniker. Little Richie, LR, Richie P, Uncle Richie P, Uncle LR. Anyway, Buffalo -5.5 today. It's in about a half hour. I got Houston at +1 only. I think it's up to 2.5 now. So I got Houston over Atlanta. I'll take the 9 points with Carolina at Detroit. Tennessee was +1. Now they're -2.5. I kind of liked Indy, but I took Tennessee at +1. Miami, got them at -9.5 against the Giants, and I pulled them out of my 4-pack. The Giants, I was going to take it. That went up to 12.5. I got them at 9.5. New England -1.5. Take them at home. Baltimore at Pitt. That was a changer too. I'm going Pittsburgh. +4.5 at home after a humiliating loss. Just feels like a Mike Tomlin spot. Arizona +3 at home against Cincy, a reeling Bengals team. We shall see. I really like what Arizona and Houston are doing with defensive coaches, and I'm usually against that, but talk about changing a culture. Basically overnight. That game last week was it a 16-point win for San Fran, but that game was quite a bit closer than it looked. Maybe San Fran is just that good. New York Jets +1.5. I think it's up to 3 now, 3.5, but I got it at 1.5. Take the Jets. I think they beat Denver outright. Take Minnesota +5. But then I got KC -3.5. So that line went down. San Fran -3.5. That's in my 4-pack. Then I got Vegas at +2, and now they're at -2. So that's a weird one. So that is my picks on the 14-game weekend. We got 4 teams on the bye. And my 4-pack, my gimmies, San Fran -3.5, the Jets +2.5, KC -3.5, and Pittsburgh +4.5. I'm putting my eggs in the basket. I think Kenny Pickett's better than he's been showing. You know, don't move. Let's just do a little preview. Week 5. Just going to give you a little something on every game. This is Uncle Richie live on the road. Notpods. My YouTube channel, @Notpods. This is, I call it not a podcast. I know it looks like one. But to me, this is not a podcast. This is live internet radio streaming. Week 5, intrigue. Chicago at Washington already played. I would have said, well, Dick Butkus died. So you're going to win that for him. Washington in a letdown spot. Fields 2 games in a row now with 4 touchdowns. And does he secure a spot as the franchise quarterback? Does Sam Howell take a step backwards in the eyes of the people? I say yes and yes. Jacksonville at Buffalo. Jacksonville been in England for, 11, 12 days. Buffalo just got there Thursday. Buffalo, it's in that spot where Josh Allen has a stinker game. We have 4 picks in week 1, 3 picks and a fumble. Week 2, 3, and 4, he's phenomenal. That's what he does. He's here, then he's here, and then he's... So you just got to get him on the week that he's... Usually it's 3, 4, 5 weeks. Jacksonville hasn't played up to their potential, I believe, and I think it's a good game. I do think it's a good game. But I did take Buffalo -5.5. Whew, that's a big number. Houston and Atlanta. D'Amico Ryans, look what you're doing. Everybody wrote them off, playing for next year. C.J. Stroud, looking like an animal. We got 2 Ohio State quarterbacks that are trying to make their mark in a league where Buckeyes quarterbacks have never done anything, basically. I love what they're doing. Just change a culture in a month. D'Amico Ryans at defense, stepping it up. Atlanta struggles. Your head coach just says, I don't like fantasy football. Now I'm going to prove it by not giving my studs the ball and probably cost me some games. I don't like it, dude. Embrace fantasy football. It's what pays your dues. This many people were not watching the NFL 20, 30 years ago. I believe it was third, if you ask me, between baseball and basketball in the 70s and 80s. In the 90s, this thing called fantasy football started, and now you rule it. Don't be poo-pooing fantasy football, Arthur Smith. You suck. Wee Man at Detroit. That's what I'm just going to call Bryce Young. He's not going to make it through a season. That guy's ragdoll. Detroit looks really solid. Talk about another job of just changing a culture. Coming in and biting kneecaps. Dan Campbell, love it. Tennessee at Indy. That line flip-flopped, and now it's Tennessee -2.5 on the road. Just because you beat Cleveland last week? I don't know. I like Indy. I like AR5. Shane Steichen, Jonathan Gannon, D'Amico Ryans. Kudos to you 3. Giants at Miami, it's up to 12.5. Giants have too good of a coach. Daniel Jones is not that bad. Get Saquon back, hopefully. I almost put him in my pick four, in my 4-pack. Couldn't quite pull the trigger. I think Miami gets back on track with their offense, but 12.5 points is a lot. So we shall see on that. Giants at Miami. Brian Dable also, I think after just a couple dismal showings, I think he has that team ready to play. New Orleans at New England, another flip-flop. New Orleans started out like -1, and now they're +1.5. I almost put them in. I think they beat New England outright. I think New England's in a sad state right now. I think, when you hear the same voice for 20-some years, it just might fall on deaf ears. I think Belichick's credibility is starting to crumble. Baltimore at Pitt, classic Mike Tomlin game. Started at +3.5, went up to 4.5. I'm taking Pitt. They're in my 4-pack. Baltimore, better and better. I think that offense is going to kick into gear, but I think it's a couple more weeks of tinkering. And just after that dismal performance last week, I think Pittsburgh at home, it's a lot of points for a divisional game. Philly at the Rams. Philly's yet to put a full game together, yet to play their best game, but it's coming. I think I went Philly plus a 4.5. Rams, we'll see. Better than we thought. Will it be good enough? Rand Cam Akers out of town, and Karen Williams is awesome, but he's not huge. And can he handle 25 totes a game? We shall see. I like Philly. Cincy at Zona. Started out +4, came down, and I think it's +3, 3.5. I kind of like Cincy in this spot. Burrow says he's as healthy as he's been all year, not even on the injury list. But Zona, they're going to give you a game. They fight to the end. Intriguing matchup there. KC at Minnesota. Started at +6. Came down to, 3.5. So a lot of money on Minnesota at home. I think KC, another of those teams that's great that hasn't played its best game. I think KC smokes them. Minnesota D's just not good. Still. Dallas at San Fran. What Dallas does is beats up on the bad teams and gets pounded by the good teams. And that line stayed right around 3.5. That's my gimme of the week. For me, give me San Fran all day. Dak hopefully throws a pick or two. I don't know, I just get sick of hearing him, sick of talking about him. Then Green Bay at Vegas. Started out Green Bay -1, now it's Green Bay +2. What do they know? A lot of money going on Vegas. I don't understand it. I'd say Green Bay to beat them outright. That's Monday night. Cleveland, Chargers, Seattle, and Tampa. We'll see you next week. I had a big trade basically in one of my leagues. Mahomes. Gave up Mahomes for Kenneth Walker. And I just can start AR5. I love that guy. I guess we'll do over-unders. I'm just no good at them. Chicago under 44.5. What was the final there? I think I lost that. Jacksonville over 48. Houston over 41.5 against Atlanta. Carolina, Detroit under 45. I think Carolina's going to have a hard time moving the ball. Tennessee at Indy, under 42.5. Giants at Miami, under 49.5. New Orleans at New England, over 39.5. Baltimore at Pittsburgh, under 38.5. Whoa. Philly at Rams, over 50. Cincy at Zona, under 44.5. Cincy hasn't scored but 20 points but once, or over 20 points but once. Jets at Denver, over 43.5. Both offenses kind of coming around. KC at Minnesota, under 52. Dallas at San Fran, over 45. Two tough Ds, but I don't know, got the feeling. Green Bay at Vegas, could be ineptitude, under 44.5. That is my wrap. That is my picks, as we are about a half hour away from the London game. It's 6 in the morning here, Philomath, Oregon, at my boy Wooz's house. I'm here with his wife and his kids because he's out hunting. I always hated hunting season, so it took all my friends away. I didn't have anybody to play football with on the weekends growing up in Tillamook. So there you have it. I'm going to try to get live a little more often. I will be here tomorrow. I'll be taking my notes. I love my backseat quarterback on Mondays. I'll be watching all day. The kids are going to have to play with Emmy. And I guess it's no different because she's just an NFL orphan on Sundays, Monday nights, and Thursday nights. NFL orphan. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, people. I love me. I love you. You love you. You love me. Love everybody. You know, we're all in this together. Same old stuff. And have a great Sunday, people. I will talk to you and see you tomorrow. Aloha.